Hey, today I'm talking about three 1960s Italian movies, all directed by this guy, and all starring this lady. And then here's the names of the three movies. I'm not going to try to pronounce them because they're Italian. Also, the basic premise for all three movies is relatively the same. It's essentially just an attractive woman is really sad for a variety of reasons, and so she just walks around looking sad. But then there's also a guy there who would like to bang her. And maybe he does. Yeah! Other stuff is The Adventure. This is a 1960 Italian film, and the basic premise is what I said before, but then it's also about these two women who are very close friends. But one of them really doesn't like her on-again, off-again boyfriend because he always keeps leaving her for months at a time, and she doesn't like that, so she wants to end things with him. And then one day they go on a little boat trip with a bunch of friends of theirs, and the girlfriend just disappears. Did she run away? Did she tragically die? Did she get murdered? Who knows? But then there's a romance that's gonna happen. This movie is ridiculously beautiful. Like the phrase, every frame a painting, could not be more true for this film. It is just ridiculously gorgeous. And there's some really cool, like, just shot composition, like just the way they had all of the people positioned was so interesting at times and so compelling. And it wasn't really in the other two films the way that it is here. Like, it just really stands out as something incredible. I will say I may have given this movie kind of a more generous ranking just because I was a bit tired while watching the film. It's not the movie's fault that I was tired. I watched it a little later in the day than I wanted to. But like the beauty of the film, I think, makes where I ranked it deserved, just because it is just insanely gorgeous. It did kind of lose me a little bit once it was just kind of people walking around looking at stuff, but I don't know, it's still fascinating. Would I recommend it? Not really. It's like, it's really good and a beautiful movie, but like, it's definitely a quiet, slow movie and not for everyone. So, I mean, like, if this feels like it's gonna be your jam, go for it, definitely. But like, this is definitely not like an everybody film, that's for sure. It's good, it's real good, but yeah. Next up is Red Desert. This is a 1964 film, the first one in color, and the basic premise is Monica plays this woman who recently went through a very traumatic event, so now she's just kind of struggling to exist. She really doesn't know how to love anything anymore and doesn't really enjoy being alive. It really feels like she's a woman on the edge of a mental break at all points. Just like anything could just like tip her over and all hell would break loose. I definitely think Monica gave a really, really good performance in this one. And this was definitely like the movie I like could most understand out of all three of them. Though I do have a couple issues with this movie. First off, there's some blackface. Came out of nowhere. I did not care for the scene. And then like, it was also just extra weird because like, it was the first time that the main character smiled and it's her in blackface. And I'm like, this is I don't like this. And I don't really see how it added any value to the movie. It was a weird section too, because like this one lady just really, really loves Africa and the people, but also the people are savages and they're basically just monkeys, so fuck them, but also screw you guys for making fun of them. I don't know, it was weird and complex. It still just didn't put a good taste in my mouth. The other thing was the whole story with the guy trying to have sex with her. Like, I don't feel like this movie needed that story at all. And then the climax of the story is, well, from my viewing of it, it really looks like it's a rape. I don't think the movie's intending it for it to be that, but I don't know how you can watch this movie and not see that as clearly a rape. So yeah, I don't know. That was also just strange. That brought it down a bit. It still is quite liked, but like, yeah. That all being said though, if I was gonna recommend just one of these films, it would be this one. I think it's the most easy to understand and Monica gives an incredible performance. It's not as beautiful as the first film and it does have more problems than the first film, but I think it's a film worth watching if you're interested. And lastly is The Eclipse. This is a 1962 film, and the basic premise is this young woman breaks up with her boyfriend who's really creepy and clingy, and then her mom really loves the stock market, so she keeps hanging out at the stock market, and she meets a broker who's there, and they maybe kind of have a relationship. That's about it. This one was kind of just forgettable, if I'm being really honest. I feel bad, but it's like I honestly struggled to remember what this one was about. I will say though that all of the stock market stuff was really, really fascinating, because it was just watching actual stockbrokers pretend to do stockbrokery things, and that was neat. Like, that's not what it looks like now anymore, so this is really a time capsule. And it was really interesting too, because so much of the shouting wasn't subtitled, so it was just kind of more an emotional experience watching these guys shout at each other, and I think that stuff worked really, really well. The rest of the movie I didn't find all that interesting. Like, their relationship I didn't really find that interesting. The dynamic with the mom was alright. I don't know, I kind of wish it would have just been the stockbroker stuff and kind of just been that sort of story, and we didn't really need Monica to do anything in this one. Also, I definitely don't get what the end is about. That's a thing. I don't know why it's called The Eclipse. I definitely didn't get this one as much as the second one, but maybe that's part of why I didn't enjoy it as much. I still liked it. I still enjoyed it. It just wasn't anything to write home about. So would I recommend it? No, I wouldn't. It's good. It's just alright. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got The Adventure, sitting at number 16 in the I Really Like section. And then after that is The Red Desert, sitting at number 31 in the Quite Like section. And then putting it up in the rear is The Eclipse, sitting at number 37 in the Liked section. And this is out of a total of 48 new movies so far this year.